busy on Twitter, people. Yesterday in her speech, Senator Warren called the presidential candidates to pledge to slow down the revolving door by not appointing Wall Street executives and bankers. To cabinet for the regulatory decisions. Will you make that exact same pledge?
Yeah, actually, I think I did before she came out with her bill, which is a very good bill, and she's certainly a wonderful voice for our country to call attention to this. As early as March, I was talking about the revolving door and the lack of enforcement, the lack of deterrence. And in the policy I rolled out, which, by the way, you can go online and find on michaeldukakis.com. No, I'm kidding. MartinO'Malley.com. We rolled out a policy on Wall Street reform, and one aspect of it called for a 3-year cooling off period when people leave government, and also more openness and transparency if there's any contacts with the regulatory agency or a lawyer or regulator used to work. So I think that this is a huge problem. Look, there's been a real coziness in our country that nearly brought us into a second Great Depression. And it would be nice to say that it was all the cause of one party. It wasn't. A lot of this came about because Democrats became too cozy with Wall Street.
I got to ask a question about Social Security because I've been paying into it, but I won't get any of it back. So,
okay. Oh, that's not true.
We got to talk Social Security about that for undocumented workers. 2 years ago, the White House proposed cuts to Social Security. This March, 42 of the 44 Democrats voted for the Warren-Manchin resolution to expand Social Security benefits. And you have talked about expanding Social Security on the campaign trail. So here's the question. Why is the debate shifted from cuts to expanding benefits? And do you think all Democratic candidates should make expanding Social Security benefits a central issue of this campaign?
Yeah, I believe the reason, yes, I do, to the final question. I have been calling for the expansion of Social Security benefits for some time. I gave an economics framework talk at Harvard, I think also back in March, and that's one of the things that I mentioned that we need to do in order to get our economy to grow, in order to get wages to grow up. And I believe the reason why the momentum has changed so much in this debate is because so many people, and the combination of the crushing college debt, stagnating or declining wages, and pensions being wiped out because of this bad trickle-down economic model and this fallacy that you have to lower wages and security for people, I believe that people are becoming keenly aware that we are in danger of creating a whole cohort of Americans who, for the first time, are going to head into retirement without much of a retirement and without security. So that's why the debate's changing, and it's good. And we all, as Democrats, need to continue to talk about the importance for all of us of expanding Social Security benefits and not cutting or reducing them.
To that point, Secretary Clinton has said that she would protect and enhance Social Security just this past week. That seems like pretty ambiguous, to protect and enhance. What do you make of that?
I don't know. You might. This is probably.
My name is Tia Oso. Today is my last day as the Arizona organizer for the Black Alliance for Just Immigration. We are a national organization that engages African Americans with a progressive analysis on racial justice and migrant rights in order to work with immigrants of color from Africa, the Caribbean, and other countries in order to advance a social and economic justice agenda to build a multiracial democracy. I want to welcome you to Arizona. And thank you so much. So Netroots Nation being in Arizona is significant for several reasons, right? Arizona is indigenous land. We call this Phoenix, Arizona, but really the border was drawn right by white supremacist manifest destiny. And without the innovations, right, of the indigenous people, right, building the canals, this would be an uninhabitable desert, correct? I just want to give a little bit of context about what we're here to do today. On Monday, that was the July 13th, it's the 2-year anniversary of the Black Lives Matter, creation of Black Lives Matter hashtag, right, political project that has moved, right, from an online political project to an on-the-ground social justice initiative that has reignited the fight for racial justice across the globe, right, and Black struggle across the globe. There's also the 1-year anniversary marking the death of, Eric Garner. And also, Sandra Bland died in police custody in Texas. So right now, here today, we want to take a moment at Netroots to acknowledge the lives lost every 28 hours, but specifically the Black women's lives that are lost every 28 hours. Okay, Black woman, man, or child. Because we think it's important, and we demand, just as I demanded from Netroots several times, and then decided to go ahead and create, right, a local-focused, Black-focused space to connect local Black community organizers with organizers who are here from around the country for Netroots, right?
It's a game.
Because that's something that we had to do, right? That we should not have had to do, right? Black Roots. Hashtag Black Roots. Okay? Because when they announced they wanted to come to Arizona and talk about immigration, I wondered, are you going to talk about the 25% of Black immigrants in Arizona who are here as asylees and refugees because of U.S. foreign policy? Are you going to talk about, when you go on your border tour, are you going to talk about the individuals that come from Cameroon and Somalia and Jamaica and Central America? Are you going to talk about the Garifuna? Are you going to talk about the Afro-Latinos? Are you going to talk about the Afro-Mexicans that are being caught at the border? But I knew that you would not. Right? I wanted to know, are you going to talk about Arizona and our state legislators, 75% of whom are members of ALEC, who introduced legislation into the Arizona state legislature unedited? The state that passed SB 1070, the state that passed SB 1062 twice, the state that passed SB 1445, the Senate bill that would have kept secret the names of police officers that commit deadly use of force, and redacted their names from their disciplinary records, that we had to come together as a Black and brown community to tell Governor that we have to be welcome to Arizona. Welcome to Arizona, where Monica Jones, a Black trans woman, cannot walk down the street. Today cannot walk down the street. Okay? Welcome to Arizona, where the Martin Luther King holiday was repealed by a Republican governor, and we had to take initiative to put a ballot referendum, right, to entrench that you will honor the legacy of Black people. If we're going to call this a progressive space, we must always and unapologetically and unequivocally center Black leadership that has made in this country. So we are going to hold this space. We are going to acknowledge the names of Black women that have died in police custody. And then, Governor O'Malley, we do have questions for you about to make sure that Black lives do matter. And that as the leader of this nation, will you advance a racial justice agenda that will dismantle, not reform, okay? Not yet progress, but that we begin to dismantle structural racism in the United States. No, we're going to do the action. We need the black women.
Police custody! Police custody! Not let my parents talk to! Not women! Al Sharpton! Jesse Jackson! Or any of the other motherfuckers that will destroy my name! My sisters got this! I die in police custody! Say my name! Say my name! Lactose! Not the one that I was given! If I die in police custody, make sure that I remember! Make sure that my sisters are remembered! Say her name! Say her name! Airplane! Quickly Bennett! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Die in police custody! Say I am not a criminal! Stop funding prisons and detention centers! Not one more deportation! White supremacy won't kill me!